Let's turn to Lucas Tomlinson, who is live in Washington, D.C. with the very latest. And Lucas, it's good to see you clearly today now that the government's lights are back on.
Nicely
See
done.
what I did there? Hi, Lucas.
That's right. Good morning, Carly and Todd. After 40 days and 40 nights, the longest government shutdown in American history is officially over. The House passing the bill at around 8:20 p.m. Eastern last night. Then it was across town to President Trump's desk in the Oval Office where he signed it.
For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was.
Now, the top Democrat in the House had a very different take and appeared to blame Republicans for the high cost of Obamacare.
House Democrats will continue to fight to address the health care crisis that Republicans have created. And House Democrats will continue to fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for tens of millions of Americans. This fight is not over. We're just getting started.
Now, Democratic Senator Cory Booker says, quote, "The Democratic Party needs change. It is time for a new generation of leaders to stand up to Trump and to all those complicit in sabotaging the American dream. Our country needs a comeback." Now, for those keeping score at home, Carly and Todd, the final House tally, 222 to 209, 6 Democrats breaking with their party to vote for it. All represent districts Trump won in 2024. And on the GOP side, Thomas Massie and Greg Steube broke with their Republican colleagues. Steube didn't like the Senate provision awarding $500,000 to senators if their phone records have been seized in the Jack Smith investigation of January 6th. And the bill President Trump signed, keeping the government open, only lasts for about 2 months till the end of January, so we could be right back here after the holidays. And I can tell you guys that we've seen cleaning crews throughout the morning preparing the Capitol to welcome visitors here once again.
That's good news. All right, Lucas Tomlinson live for us in Washington. Lucas, thank you. Let's bring in Florida Congresswoman Laurel Lee. Congresswoman, good morning to you. You just heard that vote breakdown, 222 to 209. Nearly every Republican voted to reopen the government, as well as a handful of Democrats, but not before real pain for American people, both travelers and government workers and low-income folks as well. How do we make sure that something like this never happens again?
Well, the first thing we need to do is make sure that the American people understand House Republicans again last night voted to fund our government to prevent these types of shutdowns, to make sure that our federal workers were paid, just as we voted back in September. So it needs to be clear to the American people that it was Senate Democrats that held up our bill, that shut down the government, that refused to pay our troops. And we finally last night had the opportunity to open things back up. The ways we can prevent this from happening again, first off, we need to pass our regular appropriations bills. We've done now 3 of those. There are a number of others that we need to get to, but also ensuring that we don't incentivize this kind of behavior with outcomes that Democrats want. So they made every effort over the last 6 weeks to try to extract liberal policy concessions as a condition of reopening the government. Republicans stood firm. We said, no, that's not an appropriate tactic. We need to turn the lights back on and serve the American people. And once that's done, we can have policy conversations about the issues that affect our country. But holding our troops hostage, not paying our federal employees, never the appropriate way to try to get something done.
With all that said, you heard at the end of Lucas's piece there. Again, I don't want to take a trip to negative town, Congresswoman, but are we doing this again in January?
Well, we're well underway to have appropriations bills completed by the end of January. 3 already done by virtue of this bill we just did. And I know in the House there's been tremendous work going on, even during the shutdown, to make sure that those remaining bills were ready to go. So while anything can happen in Congress, I do believe that we are in good position to make sure that we don't have a second shutdown. The other thing that's different is we just saw how terrible this is for the American people and how many people are affected. You know, most Americans can't just float a paycheck if they aren't paid on time. And so we really, I have seen how hard this was for so many of our constituents, for so many Americans. And my hope is that even the Democrats now will have a greater pause before they wreak this kind of havoc on our country again.
And, you know, Congresswoman, you mentioned the appropriate order of things in your view, reopen the government, and then you can have those big conversations. There is going to be a big conversation over health care now that the government is reopened, and Republicans have promised a vote on extending those Obamacare subsidies. Do you think that vote will take place?
Well, I believe Senate Republicans promised a vote. I don't believe we have promised a vote in the House. And really, we need to be having a much larger conversation about what to do about health care. There's no dispute that health care in America needs to be addressed. Republicans are committed to driving down the cost of premiums, to making health care affordable, quality coverage for Americans. These particular tax credits that Democrats have talked so much about were part of COVID. They were set to expire all along. So, you know, I think we need to have a much larger conversation about why so many of those taxpayer dollars were going to insurance companies, but not to the policyholder, why there's so much fraud in that system. There's a lot that we have to do to look at how to drive down the costs of health care. So I believe it would be a mistake to look in isolation at any one provision. I think we do need to get to work, stop the political gamesmanship, and get to work on how do we improve the quality and cost of health care for all Americans.
Before we let you go, Congresswoman, in the end, will this shutdown help or hurt Democrats in the midterms, or quite frankly, have no impact whatsoever, because all of this will be forgotten by next November and there will have been 9 trillion news cycles in between?
Well, my hope is that Democrats are held responsible for their choices in this shutdown, that it is crystal clear that everything we just went through was the decision of the Democrats, the offer they ultimately accepted. They had a month ago and just sat on it and put the American people through this experience. So my hope is that as we all go out there and share the facts and give transparency to the American people, that they will see that this was political gamesmanship at the expense of Americans. So certainly I want to see them held accountable for this decision and this mess for the American people when we go to the polls.
Well, 3 million people missed their paychecks. There were 10,000 flight cancellations. And Caroline Leavitt yesterday said at her press briefing that the October jobs report may never come out because there wasn't enough time to collect all that data. So those are some of the consequences because of this longest ever government shutdown that just officially ended. Congresswoman Lee, thank you for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.